This is going to be first startup. I just 80 cc, short stroke, about a 4mm spacer. She's pulling way different. All right, I'm back. As always, thank you for watching, for tuning in. If you get a chance, please smash the like button. More important than that, if you hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification, that would really help. Let YouTube know you enjoy the content, if you even want to call it that. But for me, the most important thing as always is if you could drop me a line in the comments. I appreciate that a lot. Also, I think I got everything figured out finally with Johnny's Motorized Bicycles on Facebook. There is two. There's a page, which is like a business page, and there's a group. You gotta join the public group. That's the thing. And I got all the admin things worked out. It was a lot of stuff that I'm just not used to, but I think it's all good now. So this is what we're working on. It's my old motor, as you already know. I had this on my red bike. It was like a intermittent motor I had on the bike just temporarily to basically get around while I had the other bike, the motor break, the YD, and I was having troubles, blah, 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 blah. I had, you know, that has the red top. It's a Sutec bottom. It's a 38mm stroke. It has the red top, so it's a G-Force top or G2, whatever. I think G4, whatever. It's the cylinder from the red motor, so it's a good cylinder and all that nonsense, but it's got an air leak somewhere. This is going to go on a new build I'm doing. It needs a little love, so that's what we're going to do to it today. We're going to give it some love. But my issue here is I honestly think this motor would really benefit from a spacer. And let's be 100% clear, I do not have a spacer. However, I do have a very thick gasket I could use. This is gasket material. It's cork gasket material. It's quite thick. If I go by just the crank, it's like 90 degrees of transfer open. And it's supposed to be something like 120. And that's just by, and like, look, like, let me be very clear with how I'm judging that. Like, I don't have a, what you call it. I am literally taking, it just happens that, like, the transfer opens up right when this is at the top. So I'm literally just turning it until it goes down, and the transfer closes again. It's a little past 90 degrees. I'd have to get maybe 100 degrees transfer duration. And the exhaust duration, let's see, just out of curiosity. So that is right here at the red mark. So we're gonna go boom. Exhaust is open and exhaust is closed. We are basically 180 degrees from there. But what I'm saying is I'm using this as an angle. You know, I'm saying 180. A circle is 360. The exhaust opened. This line was here. I'm using the flathead here. The line in the flathead. Excuse me. It was pointing right here where the other side is now. It went all the way to this side. That's 180 degrees. That's half a rotation, 180 degrees. So this, to me, this is all ballparks because I don't have a degree wheel. But to me, that means it's 180 degree duration. I truly think this will benefit from putting that big gasket in there. So I'm going to put this back together. Well, I'm going to finish taking it apart. Oh man, now I really kind of want to match the transfers. Yeah, I mean, that's got to be a good... It's got to be a good millimeter, 2 millimeters probably, thicker. See how much thicker that is? I mean, that's like putting a millimeter, 2 millimeter spacer in. It will take away from the squish. Basically, I'm just going to put it just like this. On a piece of paper, sandpaper, and I'm just going to sand it down. Now, this is going to obviously squish down, but it's a pretty hard material. It's not going to squish down to, maybe I'll lose, you know, a couple thousandths by the squish, maybe 3 thousandths from the actual squish of that. So realistically, I need to take this down almost all the way to gain it back to, you know, equal. So we're gonna start there and see what happens. All right. So my new issue, I cut out the basic interior shape, which came out great, and I cut out 2 holes on a test run just to see how it goes. The overall inside shape is great. The 2 holes that I cut out are perfect. I still have 2 more holes to cut out, as you can easily see. What I came up with to do it, I was gonna shave out the inside. Basically, you need a hole punch or you need a inward sharpened, you know, hole puncher thingy. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter socket. Now granted, these are 6 millimeter studs, so it has a slight taper automatically. I'm just gonna roll with that, and that's what I used to punch out the first 2. So I'm gonna have you recording while I punch out the other 2, just so you can get, you know, an idea on exactly how I'm going about this. About there. See it? Right there. Boom. You can see the shiny. See the metal shiny? There you go. And I just pop it out. Boom. Perfect little hole. And I'm going to keep trudging forward on putting this back together. I think I'm going to drill out the oiling holes on my piston to give them a little bit more oiling options. I think I will go all the way through the whole thing so that oil can get in on both sides no matter what. I think that's very important. I'll deburr this and file it down. There you go. The lighter the better. Let me finish cleaning this up and we'll be back momentarily. Now, from a word from your sponsors. Alright guys, so this was a good idea. However, short-lived. I didn't record it when I put it on because instant regret and sorrow filled my heart. Basically, it just crushed down. I didn't think it was going to crush that much, but it crushed down like a regular gasket. It's not meant to have that kind of torque, and to get the head gasket to also seal, you need to have, even the 12 to 14 foot-pounds of torque is still enough to squish this, especially considering the edge of the transfers is so thin. That little thin bit of metal pushing through will 100% just squish it. Now, what I have in my hand is a gasket, is a cylinder. However, a ruined cylinder that I've held on to for, honestly, I don't know what. I just held on to it because it was brand new and it got broken literally the next day. It was used, it was running good. Somebody took it out and just burned it to crap. I don't know who that could have been.
I didn't do anything.
It was her. So, what I'm thinking is I'm going to cut these off because I need the part that's by the transfer to make a proper spacer. So I'm going to cut these off, the little skirts, and then I'm going to cut on this side of the fin, like this side of the fin, and I'm going to make a spacer. And then I don't need to worry about the cork gasket. I can use regular paper gaskets, or I could just make sure it's super flat and use gray RTV, super gray or whatever it's called. I thought about that also. Bonuses to doing it this way is I get to make the spacer exactly how I want it, size-wise, so I guess that's cool. Downfalls, I don't have machines, so I'm going to be doing this by hand, and we're going to hope for the best. So to get the thickness I really want to be, I think I'm going to go this route. And this is an old G2 head, same exact head as that, except this one was damaged in shipping, and then the cylinder walls were completely destroyed the very next day, or actually the day of assembly. I think it was the next day of assembly. All the chrome lining came off because it wasn't broken in properly. It was just gunned and went for it. So
stop looking at me.
I don't know why she's mad that I'm looking at her. We all know it was her fault for sure. But that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to cut these off with my trusty little hacksaw. Yes, it's not even a full-size hacksaw. These are the tools I use, guys. Okay. So I'm going to cut this off. Not on camera, because that'd be ridiculous. Not to mention with this saw, it takes so much longer. And then I'm going to cut on this side of the fin, and then we're going to have ourselves a spacer that's going to fit perfectly and be exact. And we're almost through that fin. I'm trying to cut each corner and then the tops, cut like the sides, the corners, so I can get it as flat as possible. Because if I just do one straight cut through with this small thing, like look, it's almost like it's only a little bit of a stroke before it hits the side, so you're not getting much of a stroke, and it's hard then to keep it concentrated and keeping it straight. So cut corners, cut flat spots, and then the saw blade will draw itself into those cuts as we go. So keep going at it.
Like a date?
Yeah, like a date.
There we go.
Really sweet. Charlie, but
I have one detached
no, it's just that
spacer.
it's new and I don't want to make it.
I now have a spacer
Sure.
and an even more garbage cylinder. But, however, we will save it because I can literally make at least three more, at least two more, maybe a third, depending on the thickness. But whatever, we can, if need be. The next step is now we got to make it flat. How do we do that, you say? That's a good question. We take our trusty sandpaper and we sand it down. It's going to be quite a bit on this side. The table is perfectly flat, so that's all I need to worry about. Close. I only got a little bit more grinded. Honestly, my hand is so sore. If I just had a vise, to be honest with you guys, if I had a vise, I would be able to use two hands and probably get this done way faster. But only having my hands, it's hard. It's hard. It's not easy to do just sitting here at a table and desk, but whatever. I've been working at it for, I don't know, since about 1 o'clock. About 12 hours I've been doing this. Not steadily. There was probably 2 or 3 hours I took off. Either went to go get dinner, ate dinner, things like that. So 8 hours, let's say, I've been doing this. So I put a full day's work in on this already. Well, this and getting the motor where it is now. So we're close though. We're very close. By the time I get done grinding this down, well, sanding it down to smooth it, because I got to sand this side and I got to sand this side, and then I got to do a fine grit, and you know it's got to be level and all that. It is going to be about 3 to 4 millimeters thick, guesstimate. I've never done this before, but by assumptions, which are probably pretty good. Boy, I'm glad I really decided to file it, because the file was much faster than the sandpaper. So I did my little, you know, pretending to know what I'm doing kind of measurements using the flat part, and
the extremely rough guesstimates
are about 120, I think it's a slight bit more, transfer duration, and the exhaust looks like it's around 190-ish. But I mean, just by looking, like I can visually see a huge difference in how much more it's open. We're at pretty good sizing now, I think, from the spacer. I obviously don't know what my squish is, but I'm going to guess it's not really good, because right about there is 12. So that's as high as it goes. All I have is a little bit of a lip on here. There's not really much I can take off, but I think I'm going to try to take it off just to get whatever I can out of it. I've never done this before, so this is all, you know, we'll find out as we go kind of thing. I honestly think it's going to run much better now because of the improvements, but that's just me talking. I have no idea. If it doesn't run better, if it runs way worse, if there's no improvement at all, I'm just going to take the spacer out and put in a gasket and move it on down the road. Today is the next day. Everything is dried up and sealed as far as I can tell. The only way to fix the squish completely is if I cut this top fin off as close as I can to the fin, or if I, honestly, what I would probably do is I would probably cut the fin off this way and leave just the cylinder part sticking up. so I could grind it down or file it down better to get a more accurate amount of, you know, spacing for the squish. I did not affect the squish at all yet. I didn't play with the squish. I didn't do anything of that sort yet. The piston opens all the way up now. Before it was protruding into the cylinder. It's still protruding a little, but that's just because I didn't turn it enough. There you go, it's gone. Right? It's like perfect, just about. So there's that. The port duration is really good. The only issue I have is the compression. That's honestly the only concern I have about this whole thing right now. Is the compression gonna be good? I did not use a gasket on the spacer. I used just the ultra gray because I figured that should be more than adequate for sealing it. Both surfaces are super flat. So I'm gonna just put this on the bike and we're gonna test it as is. If I see like possible performance gains, like if it sounds good and all, I might just take it back off, cut the cylinder down so I can get proper squish, because as it sits right now where the squish is, it is about, I don't know, maybe 2 millimeters off. So yeah, I don't know, I'm a little worried about that. Other than that, I think I'm good. I mean, that's, you know, I've never done a spacer, so I really don't know anything about it. I've never changed port duration. We'll see how it is. I'm kind of excited about this, to be honest, because I've never done it before, and I want to keep trying to do better. And every time I learn a little bit of something, I can put it towards my other engines and, you know, make them better. I do know one thing for fact, though. Making this spacer plate with the tools I have at hand at the moment was very time consuming. All right, guys, you are on my chest mount. This is going to be first startup. I just got to put fuel in the tank. It's go time. Oh boy, I'm nervous. I am nervous. Huh? I'm nervous. Start it up. Oh, she's pulling. She's pulling way different. It's way better. Now this is also the first ride for this bike. I've never rode this bike before. Like, I never even pedaled this bike. Oh shit. That's not good. Something happened. Something just happened. I knew something happened with the front brake.
Yeah.
I think it came out from a thing it did.
Yeah.
Alright, no big deal. It still works. And I still got the back one. So I want to take it up the hill. Sorry guys, I didn't even realize the camera was pointing down that much. That's as far up as it will go. I got the seat up so I can fit on the bike, and the handlebar's up as high as it goes, but I'm leaning over so far because the bike is so small. The camera's still kind of pointing down. My bad guys, I didn't realize that. So all in all, not bad. I gotta get that front brake fixed. That's a problem. My goodness. What a difference. I mean, I'm 200, probably 65, 270 pounds. I'm a heavy fella. Sounds a little throatier. She's got a lot of power for what it is. It didn't pull me all the way up the hill by any means, but it would never pull me as far as it did pull me before. So I'm impressed with that. But it sounds way different. It sounds way gutsier. And it definitely has way more power down low. I'm really impressed with it right now. It's a huge difference, guys. I can already tell it's running much different than it was. And it started right up. Every time I go to start, it starts right up, no problem. It used to give me trouble starting up before. Now it's no issue. It starts right up. Way different. Running smooth, idling nice. What you doing out? Aren't you supposed to be in bed or something, little kid?
Get out of here.
Yeah, last time you came around, you stole my bike. I just built it. What do you think? I just did a lot of work to it, too.
Yeah, what do you think? That's cool.
Not bad, right? See the silver I made a spacer so I could lift the head up to change the duration of the timing and stuff, so it has different timing. It's so how long it has, like the exhaust stroke goes for, how long the transfers are open or closed for, the blowdown, all that. I think if I was to mill the top of it, it would definitely gain some more power if I fix that squish, if I gave it a little bit more compression. All right, guys, well, there you have it. That was very first startup. It kicked right over, started right up. Very happy with the way it is. Got to fix the front brakes because they came undone on me. That's why you heard me say, oh, snap. That's obviously edited version. Tomorrow we'll get some more daylight footage, but I like to bring you along for the initial startup so you guys can see everything and know that I'm not BSing you in any way. This is what I do, how I do it, and what happens when I do it. So, all right, I will talk to you guys probably mañana. All right, guys, so we're back with this motor. Basically, we rode it a bunch today, and it runs great. It's got so much more power down low, like blown away by the power it has down low, you know what I mean? For what it had before. But the problem is I never fixed the squish. After mulling it over and basically it chewing my brain out, thinking I need to do this because I just couldn't go any longer without thinking about it. I need to fix the squish because I'm literally driving myself bananas thinking about it all the time and not having the squish fixed. So I'm gonna cut the top fin off so there's way less material and mill it down whatever I need to mill it, grind it down, whatever. So I'm gonna take it all apart, and that's what we're gonna do really quick, which we both know isn't gonna happen really quick, but I don't think it's gonna take that long. Okay, there you have it. The top fin is cut off. Just guesstimates here, but I am assuming that about midway through that fin to close to the bottom of that fin is where I need to be. I will be test fitting it over and over again to make sure we're good, but that's not a big deal. Alright, I got quite a bit of work to do. Let me get my file. I'm gonna start with that. Here are the fins. Maybe if I get some super glue I could just super glue them back on or something.
Everything's vegetarian.
Right? Nah, probably won't work. Oh well, guess they're garbage. Between my legs is the easiest way I could do it. It allows me to put pressure, because if I hold it with one hand and I put this finger, I push down so hard with this finger or these fingers, it really hurts. So this way I can go back and forth and still put the downward pressure on it, and I just rotate the cylinder in my legs. And this seems to be doing the best. Either way, this is how I'm doing it. I just figure I'll give you a little glimpse into how I'm doing this. Well, I just turned the camera on, mainly because I forgot to turn it on when I was putting the head on. So you can see me assembling the intake and putting that on. Oh well, but I'm about to go test it. Tilt you up as far as I can. But I gotta lean over pretty far on these. Idle up, and I didn't adjust the carburetor. So what that tells me is the motor is receiving the mixture as a leaner mixture now. So that's good. make a statement. Like, it's totally doable. You know, it's definitely doable. All right, a successful ride. But yeah, I mean, I'm super stoked about it. Super happy with it. It's doing great. It's done great. Very happy with the way it turned out. But I don't know if this has the same power as a stock YD. I think it has probably a little bit more, to be honest with you, than a regular stock YD 100. I was WOT-ing it everywhere. Yeah, I was doing a lot of wide open throttles, uphills, constant open, just kept ripping and ripping and ripping. I just wanted to see how it was. Well, guys, it's the build for the new for sale bike. So as always, if you could smash the like button, definitely subscribe, drop me a comment most of all. Also go to Johnny's Motorized Bicycles Facebook group, not the page, the group. Join, post pictures, all that nonsense. Let me know what you're doing, and I guess as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.